You actually attended the band's very first open day in, I think it was 2013. So do you remember that first open day that you came to all those years ago?
Vaguely, I was only about 5 years old. And I got given...
You're only about 13 now, eh?
Only 13. I was given a cornet at first, and then it was Andy Vale, and who's second horn of the main band, who came up to me and said, "Oh, why don't you try this tenor horn?" And then that was it for a few years until I picked up one of these.
Until you found a proper instrument. And what made you on that day think, "Oh, do you know what? I really fancy this. I really want to join the band. This is for me."
Well, my dad did have a cornet at home, and I'd had a blow on it a couple of times and thought, "Oh, this is quite fun." And then I think it was my mum who originally found out about the open day, and so mentioned it to my dad and pulled me along. And then I thought, "Oh, this is quite fun, actually. We'll give it a go."
Brilliant. So, yeah, and then onwards from there, you played tenor horn for a little bit. So what's your favourite early memories of the band? Because obviously we didn't have many gigs back then, and we were just kind of getting going. So anything that jumps out at you?
I think it'd be the first time we did the Kirby Lonsdale contest. That was quite a memorable one. And probably the first ever St Clement's gig in Elmston.
Oh, yeah. I remember you around that time. You were quite keen back then. You were always talking about recordings you'd heard on YouTube. I remember, and proper little brass band geek. And was there any particular piece of music that really inspired the acceleration of your journey of music?
It was definitely a recording I heard of Lyndon Baglin playing Rule Britannia. I was like, that looks quite good. I want to be like that.
Yeah, one of the old faithfuls of the banding world, isn't he? And were there any other factors that drove you forward? Was there like the social side of it, or any of that, or was it just purely music?
Purely music when I was that young, but now it's a lot of the social side as well. Is that you meet some quite
interesting characters.
We'll say.
That's very succinctly put there. Yes, very nice. Yeah, and you've just mentioned Kirby Lonsdale, so I think that was that. Am I right in saying that was your first ever experience of a contest?
That was my first ever experience.
And
of a contest,
not the first one, but I think the second one you played a solo, didn't you? You played in races. Yeah, and I think you won the young solo.
Something like that, yeah.
So was that not nerve-wracking for you?
I was definitely nerve-wracking at the time, seeing as also quite windy at the time, so my stand blew over. There's quite a funny video of that. So
then, obviously, you were in the community band for quite a few years, and then after a while, you got to a certain level, and we needed a second baritone player in the main band, or Flixton band, and I kind of had to say, well, why don't we try Richard from the community band, because I thought, ready for it. And what was your first contest with the main band?
Blackburn and Down matching him. Both me and Dad did that. And then the first big one was Spectrum at the areas in the Winter Gardens.
Kind of a baptism of fire, that really, isn't it? The first section, Spectrum.
That was quite a challenging part.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It was definitely the hardest thing I'd played.
Yeah, well, you obviously did a really good job, and I think we came 7th, didn't we? It was a good day was had by all.
It was a good day, yeah.
So any particular memories of that day? Obviously, we were a bit too young for the old Amber Nectar at that time.
I remember me and Dad walking into the bar at the Winter Gardens, and this is quite busy. I never thought there'd be this sort of turnout for a brass band.
Yeah, some interesting going-ons in them bars, isn't there? Yeah. So then, obviously, you did that contest and kind of based it around contests. But are there any memorable concerts that you remember? Obviously, you mentioned St Clement's. Any others? It
was in my first year of being in the band, going to Holland. And the night before the contest, somewhere in Holland, in some hall with the Holland band. That was a weird experience.
Yeah, because they're not like traditional British brass band, and
just meeting them was interesting.
They're all lovely people as well, weren't they?
They were absolutely lovely.
So that was the World Music Festival in Kirkrade. That was in 2022. Not long after that, in 2023, I was a solo euphonium player of the Flixton band. I moved on. I left a vacant seat, and actually you were my recommendation to replace me on that empty seat, and that happened to come to fruition. And I believe that's where you really developed under Matt Ryan and then Adi. You really kind of pushed on from there, I think. Well, and I think that's where you grew in the soloist scene.
Yeah, a lot of it came from also progressing to the junior RNCM and being taught by Mark Bowsey from the Fodens band.
Not bad teacher.
He was after going on to the solo euphonium seat and also having this different level of tuition.
So you've got the top class tuition. You've got the seat to shine in as well. It's all goes in together, doesn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that he taught me, I can take to band rehearsals, and that's definitely where I feel like I progressed.
Yeah, so obviously you must have been, when you were told you were getting that Solo Euphonium seat for the first time, you must have been really buzzing about that.
Big boots to fill.
I've only got size 8.5 shoes, but well, I'll take it. So then after that development period, we'll call it, you're obviously always developing. You set your sights even higher and put your name in the hat for a vacant seat at the very well-known Wingates band.
Well, what happened was the band manager of Wingates messaged me about another contest in Blackpool, the Spring Festival, and said, we need a second euphonium. Do you reckon you'd be up for it? And I said, oh yeah, I'll come and help out. I was just full intentions of, I'll help out, it'll be a good experience. And then I got originally offered the second euphonium seat. And I thought, you know what, this doesn't come round all the time. It'd be a bit silly if I passed it on. And then their Solo Euphonium actually left. And then they said, oh, you know what, why don't you have the Solo Euphonium seat? Yeah. And then that's when I was, oh, here we go. This is definitely a big step up now.
Yeah, just a bit. And then you've kind of gone on from there, and you're enjoying your time at Wingates now.
Yeah, like we're got a lot of plans for this year with like a Wallace and Gromit live.
Wow.
Obviously going to the World Music Contest again this year, and obviously taking part in the areas at Blackpool, and then also the Spring Festival.
So you got a busy year then.
Yeah, but I've also used my skills on one of these as to actually go into a career in the army.
Wow. Okay.
As an army musician.
Right. How far are you along with that?
That'll begin later this year, from probably around June to September time. That's sort of the window where it'll start. Right.
So have you applied for that? Or
I've applied, I've auditioned, and I've got in. It's just passing the fitness test now, which we'll work on.
Well, it's a good career. It's worth doing. So I guess that answers my next question then. So what's your long-term aims as a player?
My bucket list is I'd personally be completely happy to retire after I sit in Brighouse and Maastricht. Okay. That's the band I want to play in. And once I've played in there, I'm
setting your sights quite low there, really, aren't we? Yeah.
Simple things. No. Being in one of the top bands in the UK is the aim.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's exactly what I want to.
Great aspiration to have. Yeah. So, brilliant. So finally, that's been great, that Richard. Just one final question. For anyone out there thinking of taking up playing a brass instrument as a hobby, or maybe there's a parent out there thinking about it for their child, like yours did all those years ago, about bringing them along to a band and taking up playing a brass instrument, what would you say to those people who are interested in it?
I can't recommend it more. It's opened a lot of doors for me. I met a lot of new and interesting people. There's a wonderful social life that goes along with it, and even just fueling players to brass bands, which seems to be quite a dying tradition in the UK.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the opportunity to travel there. You're thinking about the army.
Yeah, opportunities to travel and different venues that you can perform in is quite a.
That's one of mine actually. I want to do the Albert Hall one day. I've never done that one.
Well, I've been able to tick off Birmingham Symphony Hall, the Albert Hall, a lot of different places like the. I played in the Llangollen Eisteddfod. There's a lot of different venues and experiences. And
you've done quite a bit of the Royal Northern, I think, as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've whilst I was during my time at the junior RNCM, I played quite a lot in the RNCM theatres and concert hall.
And something we've never mentioned, actually, we're not mentioned during this interview, is you were actually a member of the Young Band of Great Britain as well, were you?
Yeah, I was for 2 years. I was a member of the National Youth Brass Band of Great Britain, which I actually found quite late on. Yeah. Only about 2 years ago, and even the musicians that you get to work with there, like the highlight for me was working with Professor David King. Yeah. That was I've never worked with someone
quite like
as just knowledgeable as him.
Yeah. So that's been great. Thank you very much, Richard. Let's go to the pub. Over and out.